And we're live.
We are live.
We're alive.
We are
Oh
alive.
my god.
Last time I checked, I got a pulse.
You do?
I don't know how to check it, but I have one. I should know that.
Discerning.
I really should know that.
Yeah.
That's sad. Speaking of sad,
The play.
today we're going to be talking about...
Today we are back. We are back.
Snap
the
back.
Narratives Podcast, otherwise known as Everyone Now,
Yeah.
here on YouTube,
We are everyone.
as well as on Soundcloud, iTunes, and Google Play.
Join the cult.
But here we are.
On the
with
YouTube.
with a nice little setup going for us.
I like it. It's good.
Yeah, we got all this.
Horny guy up there.
Don't forget the horn. It's very important.
If you forget the horn.
And of course we covered up like our setup here with our
We did have
laptop.
such a cool little thing.
But
I
we've got this little guy right
my
here.
aviators here, and
the-
we got
the
my
scarf.
scarf in honor of Madame Amelia Earhart.
Who is the subject of today's episode.
Indeed, she is.
The pilot of season 2.
Ha!
Haha!
Oh,
See what I
you
did?
stop it, you!
Yeah.
Your communist ways.
Yep.
I'm moving those so you can see them.
Exactly.
Those are hacked.
They're really nice. So here we go. We're just going to talk about Amelia Earhart, and that's what we do on this podcast.
Yeah, that's what it is. We talk
Yeah.
about people. It's season 2. Get on the fucking game.
So when people think of Amelia Earhart, it really just comes down to her being a pilot, if anything.
Yeah, that's all
Right.
I know. That's the end of my knowledge.
Yep. There you go. You might remember her flight across the Atlantic, which was groundbreaking at the time because she was the first woman to do that.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
And other than that, you probably just know that she's a pilot. But
Correct.
she was. Her life really does just culminate in a lot more than just being a pilot. Really, it's more than that. And
Educate me.
and as usual, I felt like I had to add this in that we'll tell her story through the people that knew her
Yes, of
and
course.
through herself.
Yes. Through a new light.
Yeah. So her early life, she was born July 24th, 1897.
1997.
She was the daughter of Samuel, or otherwise known as Edwin Stanton
Ooh.
Earhart, and Amelia Otis.
Oh.
She was the second child of the marriage, but the first one was a stillborn.
Just like...
Elvis, which is the forbidden episode.
Wow. I was worried if we could talk about the cursed one.
Yeah.
But okay.
More on that later. She was born in Atchison, Kansas, and was birthed in her maternal grandmother's house, which wasn't really.
I don't like the sentence was
Old.
birthed in her maternal grandmother's house.
It wasn't like an old thing. Like
I
they
think
did that all the time. They just kitchen table. They'd like throw the plates off, and then they just like put the lady down.
I thought you were going to say put the plates out.
Yeah. They'd serve dinner, and then baby would pop out.
They'd
That's
be like,
the-
I'll do it after dishes.
Yeah, it was, but that was what they did back then. It was really weird that they did that kind of
I
stuff.
hate how you said birthed. You could just say born.
Yeah, well, she was birthed in the house. I
Right.
meant to like accentuate the fact that she wasn't born in a hospital; it was in a house.
Right, yes.
And apparently, this side of the family showed little to no favor towards Edwin at the time because of his failure as a lawyer.
No.
Essentially, It was
Death
like-
of a lawyer.
Yeah. But her grandfather, Otis, was super wealthy.
Oh,
Yeah,
he was the infamous wealth
was
symbol.
Monies. He
was-
loved it. And until Amelia was 12, she grew up and was raised in this large house in Atchison.
Is that Texas? Atkinson?
No, Atchison. It's in,
Rhode
what did I
Island?
say? Kansas.
Oh.
Atchison, Kansas.
I thought there was an Atchison,
Atchison.
Texas.
Yeah.
Okay.
And her father her grandpa was apparently like this big figure, like a leading figure in the town. And he was a president of a bank, and he was also a former judge.
Whoa. Okay.
So he had like a bunch of money from that. And but anyway, she went to private school in Atchison. And but in the summers she left to Kansas City, Missouri. Is that how you say Missouri?
Missouri.
Missouri.
You don't have to go like Missouri.
Missouri.
Down here in Missouri. Oh, no, you just say Missouri.
You think?
I know.
Okay, fair enough.
I know think. You know.
I was just wondering because as Americans do, they go Missouri.
Yeah, it said this.
I was born in Missouri.
That's an accent.
Missouri.
That's not every American.
Missouri.
Fun fact, every
Missouri.
American goes, Missouri.
Missouri.
Come on down to Missouri.
Yeah. Her father worked for the Rock Island Railroad as like their lawyer, and that's where they operated out of. But eventually, the company moved Edwin to Des Moines, Des Moines, Iowa, and Amelia.
Des Moines, Iowa.
Des Moines, and Amelia, along with her younger sister Grace, otherwise known as Pidge, which is a horrible nickname, moved out of her grandpa's house. So they left the life of luxury. But then their early life was like really sporadic because they like left and then they come back and then they just leave again. And then, yeah.
Pidge, I imagined a fatter version of Prim from the Hunger Games. It's me, Pidge.
Yeah, basically.
Pidge is good.
Pidge, I don't know why. But during this time, Amelia Earhart...
this time...
Amelia Earhart had begun to develop a sense of adventure. And her mother put it this way. She said she didn't want her girls to grow up to be nice little girls.
Break shit. Destroy stuff.
Well, like at that time, right? The girls would grow up and be like, "Can I have some tea, Mom?"
And he was like, "Nah, fam, make your own decisions.
Yeah, and then
be
like,
decisive.
You're a girl, so as soon as you're 3 years old, you start in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And then you learn how to make sandwiches, and then we'll marry you off at age 5, and then you'll be okay.
5, practically a spinster at my age.
Yeah, so... and an example of her, which is hilarious now if you think about it, but like their rebellious attitude was that her mother let them wear bloomers.
Whoa, hey.
Yeah, which apparently nobody else in the block wore bloomers.
This is a family
and her grandma was like, nobody wears bloomers around here.
In Missouri.
And here, in Missouri.
Yes.
So, one of the lights just burnt out. That's weird.
I'm kind of glad. I was
darker.
getting permanent eyeball blindness, so that's good.
Not that bad. I don't know if I can... we'll worry about that later.
Halt podcast.
So, I guess that happened. I hope as soon as like 3 minutes from now, they're just going to go... Tick, 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 tick. Yeah.
I want him to go like slowly, like 1 a minute.
We're just going to be sitting in... Yeah.
A quiet place.
It's going to be sad if that happens.
Hey, I'm in.
So, she let them grow up with this easygoing attitude, so she wasn't like super strict on them or anything like that.
Indeed.
And her father was kind of an alcoholic, so he was...
Are you
chilling?
I feel like you're either an alcoholic or not.
Well, at this point, he was just like,
alcoholic?
I like the booze, but I'll do my job.
Yeah, okay.
And he does that dance.
Hey, I'm living that life right now.
Yeah, he's breaching on it. He'll get there soon enough.
If that's
just hold on.
am I gonna problem?
Whoops. And she let them grow up to be apparently rough and tumble lifestyle.
Yeah.
So like, yeah. But really, back at this time, they were just doing regular kid stuff, you know. And it's funny because Grandpa Otis claimed in like this, Grandpa Otis I call him that because it's
want some peanuts?
You kids want some peanuts?
That's how I imagine him.
Yeah. He claimed that they inherited the two girls, Pudge and Amelia. Pidge.
Pudge. It's so much worse than Pidge. I thought
Pudge.
you couldn't get worse than Pidge.
Pidge. He claimed that they inherited my pioneering spirit.
It's the grandma or the grandpa?
The grandpa was like, "You kids inherited my pioneering spirit. Good job, kids."
For this couch.
Yeah.
As far as I've ever pioneered.
Like, because they just went and looked around at stuff. They were kids.
Yeah, as
like,
you do.
Yeah.
Who doesn't look at stuff?
Yeah, like I said, they're just doing kid stuff, and they collected they had an extensive bug collection, and like frogs and stuff.
No.
You didn't do that as a kid?
No.
That was me. I had like a frog, and then like, I'd always go out, I had like these little terrariums.
Frog.
Yeah.
Frog.
I had like, there was a fish bowl that I put a frog in once, and it was just chilling, and then I had to let it go once, because...
Baby frog.
Yeah, baby.
Died.
Yeah, I don't know if it died, actually, I just let it go.
One time my sister brought home a duck. A live duck.
That's
and was
funny.
like, yo, let's hang out. And I was like, no.
The best part about me letting this frog go, as I let it go like that, was I like set it so we could like walk out and just like hop away. And I was like, he's not gonna hop away. He loves me. And then he just starts hopping away, and I went, no. And I was like, he's just gonna turn back and just fucking go. He's gone. It was at my grandma's house. Yeah.
Your frog umizoomied out of there.
He left. He's like, enough of this shit. Like, I can't believe, at the time, he was just constantly throwing himself against, like, the glass of the cage, trying to, like, escape. He was just, like...
Trying to kill himself. There's nowhere for me to go but hell.
And I had no sympathy for that. I was like, he's gonna love me.
Get back to Earhart.
Yeah, okay, let's...
There's nowhere to go but hell.
But the best account I found was one of their games that they played where they apparently tried to build a roller coaster. What? So they put like a cardboard box on this hill with like a bunch of sticks and stuff. And then this failed attempt was apparently very exhilarating for Amelia, however. Like she bruised her lip and tore her dress and then like got up out of a tangle of bushes and was like, "Whoa! You gotta try this, bitch!" Yeah.
Pidge. Oh.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get over it. I'm just gonna have to...
Pidge. Come on.
Of course.
So, it was nice. I imagine she probably got in a little bit of trouble, but her mom was probably like, "Not nice, little girls." Good.
That's what they wanted. I hope you die in there. I mean...
Yeah. Eventually, however, she was, again, taken away to the Iowa State Fair.
Woo-hoo!
This time. She was taken there. Yeah! And that's where she saw her first aircraft. Which, you'd imagine that this would be like a very important moment in her life. Unfortunately, just like Tony Hawk, she was not impressed. Like Tony Hawk's first skateboard, she was like, nah. See, what the thing is to note though is that this was only like just after the Wright brothers did their biplane run. Yeah, Kitty Hawk, and the planes there were really not more impressive than that. And she called them just like a bundle of bronze and sticks that was not appealing at all.
Stick bundle.
And so apparently her father was like, "You can go on a ride on one of these airplanes, sonny. I mean, daughter." He's well into alcoholism at this point. So.
Oh, okay, yeah. Fair.
And she was like, "I just want to go to the merry-go-round, pa."
And he was like, "You won't get on that plane."
So originally she went to the merry-go-round instead of taking a flight. So.
Curiouser.
Yeah. But then, not long into the Iowa stay, she went back to live with her grandparents.
Oh, that little rascal.
Her father was having trouble with alcoholism, like I said.
Oh, that big rascal.
And Amelia recounts this awareness of his problem, like she was aware that he had an alcohol problem, he was like having trouble with jobs. And she said that she, later on, just hated alcohol. She despised it. So
yeah, a lot of people, it's common.
And back at her grandparents' house, she got some homeschooling with her sister.
Oh.
Yeah. And at this point, her mother and father had split. Oh. So she split because of alcoholism and then left and took them to the grandparents. There's like some conflicting accounts that say that she took them to like her friends, but really they ended up at the grandparents.
Why do I imagine when they divorced, the mom got into the box and just rode down the hill away? I'm done with this marriage.
Roller coaster. You gotta try this, bitch. Yeah.
I'm leaving you, George.
And at the year of her graduation, so this basically is the end of her childhood.
What year was that?
Her graduation, it was 1915, I believe.
Okay.
I didn't mean to bump this pop filter, but it happened. Yeah. 1915. She had a yearbook photo that people found, and it was inscribed in the yearbook photo was the text, "The girl in brown who walks alone."
Same. That's what I'm going for.
The girl in brown who walks alone. Who Roblox alone. Roblox alone.
Oh,
you want to go and go ahead and go from here?
Oh boy, do I!
Yeah, you can read about some. Because we decided that instead of doing what we did last season, which was just one episode to one episode back to back, we're just gonna work together and do a collaborative.
Well, you'll get better content.
Exactly, because then you get two people working on it, and
two human combined. But now we move on to some good stuff. 5 years after she graduates in 1915, she has her first plane ride. I see where you're heading, mister. Far and away better than the plane that her father tried to take her on. And over the last 5 years, nothing happened.
No.
Except her mother inherited the estate, and Amelia going to college in Philly, so I guess something did happen.
It was like not a lot in her life.
Oh, in the grand scale of things.
Yeah, in the grand scale of things, not a lot happened is what I was getting at. Yeah. So, her grandparents died, and then her mother got a shit ton of money because, wow, you know how we like the money.
Came in a box down the hill.
You gotta try this, Pidge.
Can that be your catchphrase? You gotta try this, Pidge. During this time, she also served as a Red Cross in Toronto, Canada. After taking a vacation up there to visit her sister. Pidge.
Yeah.
She had reportedly noticed an amputee. Noticed?
Like
amputee detected.
Because there's a bunch of them. It was like not just one. I was like amputees is what. But there's a bunch of them because of the war, World War One.
Yeah.
Anyway, they came back to Toronto.
They're called a murder. Oh, no. A group of amputees is called a murder.
Is it? I don't think it is.
That's gross.
Very sensitive.
I gotta set a wobble.
Collectively, they're about 3 human bodies. So I mean,
collect them all, and you can form Megazord. She saw this amputee and felt the desire to help.
Yeah.
This was, of course, during World War One.
Yeah.
However, her assistance led to her falling ill when in Spanish flu reached Toronto.
Yep.
I didn't know that was around then. That's unfortunate. My team?
1918.
Well, at least my team. Spanish flu is my team.
Yeah.
However, her assistance led to her falling ill with the Spanish flu. Yep. On the upside, she spent the time incapacitated learning to play the banjo.
True facts.
Hell yeah.
Apparently what they had done, because they didn't have common, like, antiseptic, or whatever the
antibiotics?
Antiseptic.
She had a toilet? That's
antibiotics, yeah. Yeah, and so what they did is they just did surgery on people who had, like, sinus infections. So they just, like, cut the nose open and was like, let's get all this mucus out of there. That did nothing. So she had mucus. Taffy. She had, like, sinus problems for the rest of her life, really, so.
Oh.
Getting a headache now from these glasses. You can...
Okay. I can't read without them, so I can't read without them.
Yeah,
without
the banjo was cool. And I
read the
just like she goes to Toronto, gets Spanish fluo, and then just like banjo. Like, what else do you do?
That's how you recover.
Exactly.
World War One. Oh, on the upside, she spent her time playing the banjo. She had an interesting run-in with a World War One ace who dived her and her sister in a field.
Yeah. So
there's
an airplane. Sorry. They went to a flight show.
They dived her in a field.
Like, no. There was an airplane, and they went to an air show. But her and her sister were just standing in the field, just like alone. And this one guy was like
backstroke,
and then she didn't move, and then
kill me.
Well, she knew that the guy wasn't gonna just like crash into him. The guy was expecting what she said at the time was that he was probably expecting to go and make them run away. Being like, look at these little girls, let's go spook them.
Well, to quote her exactly, what she recalls is that, quote, I didn't understand it at the time, but I believe the little red airplane said something to me as it swished by.
Yeah.
Fuck off.
Yeah. There's a guy going, ah!
Screams.
Yeah.
But back on track, in December 1920, Earhart goes to an air show in Long Island Beach, California. Her parents had reunited there, and it seemed fitting for her to visit. I assume that means remarried or just like...
They
reunited.
They reunited as one green lantern.
Boom.
Yeah.
And it seemed fitting for her to visit. She had dropped out of college and returned from Toronto. This was the decision that changed her life. A plane ride of about 10 minutes was all she needed. She said to herself, by the time I got 200 or 300 feet off the ground...
200 or 300?
200 or 3! That's the one that comes after. 300 feet off the ground. I knew I had to fly.
Yeah.
The flight was piloted by the famed war pilot Frank Hawks. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Afterwards, she began taking flight lessons from Nita Snook.
Yeah, Nita Snook.
It's a good last name.
Nita Snook. Sounds like a fake name, honestly. I need a Snook.
I need a Snook.
Yeah.
I don't have any. Dude. Anyway.
Need a Snook.
Poor guy alert. Incoming failed.
There you go.
Knew I had Nita Snook, who was one of the first women ever to have a flying license.
Yeah, really cool.
Apparently, Earhart simply showed up at the airfield after saving money and said, I want to fly. Can you teach me?
Basically, yeah. So she was in California and she's like, I want to do it again. And then she saved up like $1,000 or something. And she just went up to Snook.
$1,000 in 1915?
There was her estate, remember?
Okay, I was like, God
she was
damn.
also doing some fun stuff.
That is a lot of money.
She just like walked up and it was probably all like allowance.
Shut up and take my money.
She's like, teach me how to fly. What's that song?
Fly Me to the Moon, Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
she began taking lessons from Nita Snook, and she just showed up at the airfield and said, "I fly, you take."
Yeah, basically.
And then during this time, she borrowed some of her mother's inheritance to buy a 2-person plane. Just about 6 months after training, which she named the Canary.
She named it, yeah. She named it the Canary for some reason.
December the very next year, 1921, Earhart received her flyer's license. Mm-hmm. She was the 16th woman to earn a flyer's license, fun fact.
Yeah.
However, her new passion didn't last very long as the Great Depression hit and kind of ruined
That's
things.
what the Great Depression did. It just went...
Is that sign language for the Great Depression?
It better be now. It's either... Stop, thief. You accidentally Great Depression.
How do you accidentally cause... Well, never mind, I do know how.
So, yeah.
Sweet,
And
sweet.
fun fact about 19... sorry. I'm skipping ahead. Sorry.
Fun fact
Her new pet, it didn't last very long because Great Depression. And her grandmother's inheritance slowly whittled away. Gone. In the wind. And Earhart tried her hand at some entrepreneurial ventures.
Oh,
So just
yes.
like went around just doing some stuff.
Indeed.
And fun fact about 1924, her parents divorced for sure this time.
I'm laughing so hard. That's such a fun fact.
And she struggled for a while because her sinus problem.
Oh.
And because of the Spanish flu.
That's the only
And,
Oh.
Yeah. Well, it's like the sinus problem stemmed from this. Basically, they did surgery.
I just imagine, like, I got a bit of a runny nose, and also the Spanish flu, but runny nose first. Deal with the Spanish flu after the nose, please.
And basically, she just drove her mother around in this nice car called the Yellow Peril. I thought it was a car, like the name of a card, and I searched up the Yellow Peril. Turns out, not.
Whoa!
Not what I thought it was.
Oh no, is a racist color metaphor that is integral to the xenophobic theory of colonialism.
Yeah, so it's not what I meant, but she named it the Yellow Peril. It's a cool car. If you just go Amelia Earhart.
Yeah, search Amelia Earhart first.
Amelia Earhart Yellow Peril.
Oh no.
And then it's one of these cars.
Oh
right?
hell yeah.
It's like one of the ones.
It's like the Great Gatsby car.
Yeah, like the big old wheels and the. I mean,
it's not Gravedigger.
I can't just turn it around. Like it's got it looks like an old racing car. Like one of those. But yeah, there's like a picture of her doing her thing or someone else. I don't know.
Colorized.
I don't know.
It's a shitty cosplay, and you're like, it's her. The truth. Don't Google that one.
Yeah, just don't Google
it's
Yellow
just a fancy
Peril.
old car. Trust us.
It's just a bunch of pictures of Chinese people
Soon
being
enough.
very racistly depicted. So
It was
where were we now?
Soon enough, Earhart made it back to aviation. However, in Medford, Massachusetts.
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 That's a mass of two shits right there.
That is one single mass made of 2 shit. I like it a lot.
Oh.
I do like it. It's my favorite.
We're just pissing off everybody who lives in America right now.
No
Sorry,
one,
buddy.
Whatever.
God bless America. I did it with my left hand. I'm sorry.
That
God
was
bless
the
America.
wrong hand.
God bless America.
Yes. Oh, good recovery though.
Yeah.
Nice. I lost my place due to your Nazi propaganda.
She became the vice president of a flying club with a huge name. I don't see. I wrote flying club with a huge name because the name was like 15 words long, and I was like, no.
NAFCA, NTPA,
Yeah, basically, like it was really annoying. And also, she made the very first flight out of the Denison Airport, which is kind of cool. It's not huge, but it's like it's very first flight.
Yeah.
So she had some honors here,
Well,
and pretty soon her publicity grew. And she focused on ad campaigns for flyers, male and especially female flyers.
Yeah.
I was like, flyers? She made flyers? And I was like, oh. Flyers. People who fly.
Flyboys.
Flyboys. And fly girls. Goyles.
Fly girl.
Fly goyle.
Fly girl. 2.
Yeah.
No, just 1.
And then, shortly after her ad campaign, which was making her money, basically.
Indeed, yeah.
Charles Lindbergh made his first flight across the Atlantic. First man to do the cross... That's a star map. Whoops.
Across the galaxy.
Yeah.
He flew across this
I thought
galaxy.
this was my map.
You gotta get a map now.
Yeah.
There's Middle Earth.
Yeah. You went from here to here.
The front of Smog to the map.
And from Markarth to Whiterun.
Yeah, you know.
As he did. So he made that flight. And this is interesting enough. A crossing of lines happens between these very important people. George B. Putnam.
No.
It'll become important later.
I don't like him.
Had began publishing stories about Lindbergh, but then he began using all of a sudden Amelia Earhart's new thing because we'll get into that. In April 1928, Earhart received an invitation, an unexpected phone call asking if she would accept the honor of being the first woman to fly across the Atlantic. Without hesitation, she accepted.
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course she would.
Why
And
not?
she was listed as the co-pilot for the flight. But in the end, she never did any flying. Yeah.
What? She didn't...
Yeah.
Hold on.
So they were like, you want to be the first woman to fly across the Atlantic? And she's like, yes. And she's like,
Okay,
well,
but you
you're
sit
just
in the back.
Yeah, basically. That's what happened.
What?
She even goes, but interesting enough,
Well, I guess she technically
she was
was.
not the first choice for the project.
Huh. Just like Eugene Cernan.
Yeah. Amy Guest stated that the flight was just too dangerous for her. So she's a pussy. We're going to say that right out. Amy Guest, you
Puss.
weak, conscientious objector.
Huh.
Yeah.
I oppose
Yeah.
all of your views.
Yeah, she was the co-pilot, and she never did any flying. Basically, there was an interview where Putnam came by and he did an interview with her, and he's like, "Okay, so how do you feel about being the co-pilot? This one guy will do all the flying." And she was like, "I thought I was gonna do flying."
Yeah.
And then she's like, "It's okay, you could run the flight log."
Why were men like that? Why were
I don't
men
know.
like, we're gonna go do it, but you stay home? Why?
Yeah.
Because you're a woman. Yeah, but why?
Yeah. But then Putnam, yeah,
I gotta go.
he sponsored her in an interview and then reaffirmed her
Sponsored by
desire.
Putnam.
She still wanted to fly across the Atlantic, so it was just a co-pilot flight. The flight was exactly 20 hours and 40 minutes and left
that's not that
from
long.
Trespassy Harbor in Newfoundland and landed just south of Wales.
Oh, there she is?
Yep, and left on June 17th, 1928.
Wow.
Earhart was pretty disappointed, however.
Oh.
At an interview soon after she landed, she said herself, "Stoltz did all the flying. He had to. I was just baggage, like a sack of potatoes.
Wow.
Maybe someday I'll try to do it alone."
Oh.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
Yeah,
Alert.
poor guy, alert. Despite this disappointment, her publicity went through the roof. She was across the Atlantic. We gotta sell this woman to the world. Yeah.
Not literally. We're not human trafficking.
Yeah, but fun fact, Amelia Earhart was actually human trafficked
Baggage wasn't a joke.
and then returned. Yeah. Yeah. Pretty soon after this, Putnam made a little bit of success off the story of her going, so he made a bunch of money again because he was like, Lindbergh across the Atlantic, and then he's like, first woman across the Atlantic, whoa! And everybody else was like, I gotta read
she
this
get out of
news
the house?
story. Yeah, like, and then she went on to set up the 99s. The 99s, like a group of female flyers.
Oh.
Yeah, in 1929. And it was
99?
an organization dedicated to women's aviation. And it was
sick.
small at the time, but still groundbreaking.
Huh.
And basically, the one motto she says, and it's her own quote, who says, "Fly because the fun of it."
Yeah.
So it's fun.
Fly because you hate it.
See, my theory is that
Yeah.
she because of how soon after it, she wanted to prove her capability in the flight and wanted to prove
Well, yeah.
women were good enough to do this kind of stuff.
Because the first woman ever is co-pilot. She was like, no, I will make a stand. I'm making a statement.
Exactly.
Co-pilot? Nah, fam.
And she was kind of
Emperor of plane.
like people know her as Lady Lindy, and she kind of thought that was like nice because that came apart because Charles Lindbergh flew across the Atlantic and he was known as Lucky Lindy.
That's a bad name.
And then they nicknamed her Lady Lindy. But then some people were like, "Nah, she's the queen of the air now." So
Emperor Lindy.
yeah. So and apparently it was also because of her physical resemblance to Lindbergh.
Oh,
She looked like
yikes.
him. So I don't
Nothing
know.
I love more than in a woman than looks like Charles Lindbergh. That's what.
Yeah.
Get those jowls.
So she did get a decent son. She got a decent son.
Nice.
No, that's
From the plane?
Decent son. You know how it is.
Hey,
Like that one-
first person in the Mile High Club. Amelia Earhart.
She was in the years between the flight and the 1999, so there's... I'm sorry, the years between the flight and the 99's club.
99 club.
She spent most of her time being basically corralled around for marketing schemes.
Oh.
And reasons companies wanted to make money off of her image.
Yeah.
She earned a decent sum of money for it, though. That's what I was getting at. She got some money. And apparently $1,500 she made from a cigarette campaign that she had issues with. She didn't really enjoy the campaign. She had to cancel the contract. But the $1,500 she made from that was sent to Richard Byrd's South Pole expedition.
That's awesome.
Which was the first South Pole expedition. That's Richard Byrd's.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So here you go. You can read this last.
Her next accomplishments include a number of records that she set. Mm-hmm. In August... Death. 1928. In August 1928, she became the first woman to fly solo across North America. This added a new respect to her name by professional flyers. General Leigh Wade flew with her once and said, quote,
This is my favorite.
She was a born flyer with a delicate touch on the stick.
Yeah, that sounds so weird.
Yeah, baby.
Doesn't it sound... It sounds like something Zepp Brannigan would say.
She's a born flyer with a delicate touch on the stick.
Yeah, just...
right.
why would he say... That's such a weird way to say that.
She then proceeded to place third in an air race.
Stick, if you know it. I can't...
I don't like the hand motions.
Delicate touch.
Is that what you call delicate?
She's a delicate touch on the stick.
All right.
Friends.
Someone's going to screen cap this.
Yeah.
I'm just making soup.
Yeah.
Doubt.
What is that sign language for?
Gumbo. Is that racist?
I don't know.
She placed third in an air race competition in the heavy division flights.
Yeah, so that was...
in the heavyweight division.
That means planes that are heavier than light planes.
She beat John Cena in the heavyweight division.
Yeah, she placed third. Because apparently she was in fourth for most of the race, but then the person in third crashed.
And then you know what else she did? She proceeded to place third in an air race, and then she set a world record for altitude, reaching 18,415 feet, flying a pane of glass. Flying the cardboard box that she borrowed from Beech Nut Chewing Gum.
Yeah, Beech Nut Chewing Gum at the time, which is my favorite
yummy
thing ever.
Beachy nut.
So now we're into her, basically that brings us up to her flight, her solo flight across the Atlantic.
Yeah.
So remember when she said, maybe I'll do it solo one day.
And then she did it one day.
She did it.
Fuck
but
you,
before that, she got married to George Putnam, that guy that was publicizing her up.
I don't know why. I just don't like him.
Why not?
I don't know.
They had a happy marriage.
I don't know.
I think so.
Doubt.
Yeah. I've heard... I've heard
about him before. I've heard about him.
And she was engaged to Samuel Chapman, who was a chemical engineer from Boston. But then she broke off the engagement on November 23rd, 1928. And then she met George Putnam, of course, earlier. And they spent a lot of time together, basically.
Yeah.
Because they were hella hanging out. But
then they divorced in 1929.
Putnam already? What are you reading?
Putnam, who was a known JP, was divorced in 1929.
Oh, yeah, no.
Earhart.
No, Putnam divorced.
And then sought out Earhart.
He was like, nah.
Cancel.
That's what I imagine.
Get them.
Amelia Earhart, I don't know. It's gotta, have some sex appeal. She's flying up in the air, right? I mean,
I don't know.
You can't.
I've never
put on this.
I'm not attracted to someone just because they're up in the air.
Wow, there they go.
Nice.
I don't know. Think about
a
nice, bulky ass dude just flying around his airplanes, right? He's like, "Hey baby, come check out my airplane collection." That's what I imagine Amelia Earhart was like. He's like, "Hey baby, hey Putnam, you want to see my airplanes? These are my airplanes. This is the Beech Nut that I borrowed."
Uncomfortable check.
Here's the Beech Nut that I borrowed. Oh, I like that voice.
I don't know what that was, but it's not Earhart.
Yeah. So there's apparently described as a decent amount of hesitation on her part. She married Putnam. So Putnam was like, "Marry me." She's like, "Marry me, marry me." Beech nut.
Done.
Yeah. So.
Throwing the nut.
And then they got married in Putnam's mother's house in Noink, Connecticut. something like that.
In Connecticut.
She referred to her marriage as a partnership with dual control.
Delicate touch on the stick.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, baby.
The beach nut.
Oh, no, get your hands off the stick. Don't touch that stick.
She wrote once, I want you to understand I shall not hold you to any medieval code of faithfulness to me, nor shall I consider myself bound to you similarly. So they had like this kind of
weird, like...
not relationship.
Let's say we're together, but I'm gonna do everyone else, so...
yeah. Yeah, she had apparently liberal views on the marriage at the time, and she believed in
liberal views on the marriage.
Apparently, that's what it was. Equal responsibilities for both of them.
No, I'm not cheating on you. I just have liberal views about our marriage.
Equal responsibilities for breadwinners, and she kept her own name rather than being referred to as Mrs. Putnam.
Yeah, that's good.
So
Amelia Putnam doesn't have the same ring.
Amelia Putnam.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
Good choice.
Putnam also learned that he'd be called Mr. Earhart rather than Mr. Putnam instead. So it's interesting enough that they kind of like swapped. And this was in mind you, this is in 1930s, right?
That would have been like, what the flimmity gibbet?
Yeah, like, you ain't supposed to be doing that.
What are you, some kind of moon bat?
Yeah,
get out of here with
exactly.
your liberal marriage.
There was no honeymoon that they had; they didn't share one. And Beechnut sponsored them to do a tour. That Beechnut.
Now it's a baby food company.
Yeah, Beechnut chewing gum. Yeah.
Swiss branded consumer goods. Yeah.
Looks like it's baby food to me. Beechnut. And they wow,
strange.
Okay. And although Earhart and Putnam never had children, he had two sons by previous marriage to Dorothy Binney, a chemical heiress whose father company, Binney and Smith, invented Crayola crayons.
Wow, I'm not going to say that word, because last time I did, there was a lot of controversy over it.
What, Crayola?
Crayons.
Oh.
People still give me shit about that.
The
crayons. It's crayons. I've always said crayons, I'm not changing it.
Okay.
Fuck you. Shut up, Instagram.
Okay. The explorer and writer David Binney Putnam and George Palmer Putnam Jr.
Palmer Putnam, that's a good name.
Palmer Putnam. And she was apparently fond of David because he's an explorer and frequently visited the father at the family home. Yeah, the Apawemis Club. Which apparently is the entire United States is what it says. So, George got polio, so... Anyway, moving on.
I was laughing
Transatlantic
so hard.
flight.
You hit me with a polio bomb.
I didn't mean to.
We might have to make this a two-parter.
No, we're good. Because it's only the transatlantic flight and then the world flight. Transatlantic flight. Yeah.
I challenge you.
Yeah. So, May 20th, 1932, 34-year-old Amelia Earhart set off from Harbour Grace, Newfoundland, with a copy of the Telegraph Journal given to her by the journalist Stuart Truman. Yeah. With an intention to confirm the date of the flight. She wanted to fly to Paris in a single-engine Lockheed Vega 5B. It's a red, fun-looking airplane.
That's what they called it.
Yeah. And she wanted to do exactly what Charles Lindbergh did 5 years earlier. The technical advisor, the famed Norwegian-American aviator Bent Balken. Burnt Balken. A burnt Balken.
Once I've burnt my Balken!
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know what that means.
That was fun, though.
Put together the dots.
He helped to prepare the aircraft. And he was also a decoy for the press because she didn't really want...
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
That's just a mannequin with a wig on.
Yeah. As he was preparing the Vega for his own Arctic flight. So, like, he didn't want everybody to be like, no, Amelia, you can't fly across the Atlantic. You'll never make it. Yeah, so he was helping her out. And it was a flight lasting 14 hours and 56 minutes.
That's even shorter than the other one.
She contended with strong northerly winds, icy conditions, and mechanical problems.
Oh.
And what she did is landed in a pasture in Ireland. She landed in a pasture in Ireland. She said, after spooking some cows, I touched down.
What the fuck is that?
Yeah, some cows are basically... Yeah, I can't. Just imagine just, like, sitting there, like, having your morning tea, and then all of a sudden,
brew in the
a fucking airplane just goes...
What the fuck kind of bullshit are you flying over me fucking head?
all All the clouds.
Me cows are crying out, you fucking racist.
And the farmhand asked, "Have you flown far?" And Earhart replied, "From America."
So no.
Yeah. From the moon. Like, yeah. She was the first woman to fly solo nonstop across the Atlantic. She didn't reach Paris, but granted, she did. It was Atlantic, right? She spanned the Atlantic. She went to Ireland.
Oh, okay.
Right, so that's still Atlantic.
Still counts.
She just didn't reach Paris because of bad weather conditions, and again,
strong wind,
and
mechanical problem.
So she did a pretty good job, right?
Yeah,
yeah. And so
it's pretty cool.
She received the Distinguished Flying Cross from Congress after that, and the Cross Knight of the Legion of Honor. And the French government, so that was a Legion of Honor from the French government,
right?
And Gold Medal of National Geographic Society, and I think that's still like the National like the same, same national, from President Herbert Hoover.
Good old Hooves.
Look at his chapped.
That's the kind of woman I want.
Yeah. She got more and more fame, especially because of this.
Yeah.
And then she got friendships with people in high offices. She got friendships. She was like, nice to meet you.
Friendship acquired.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. And after flying with Earhart, Roosevelt obtained a student permit, but did not further pursue her plans to learn to fly. So Eleanor Roosevelt did try to fly.
She is not an attractive
Fun fact
woman.
about Eleanor Roosevelt, she's theater FDR, Franklin Delano Delano. I can never get
Franklin Delano Roosevelt.
Franklin Delano Roosevelt's cousin. Fun fact. So, not an uncommon thing back then. Those whiteys doing their job.
The White Devil.
Yeah, there they go. But yeah, that's interesting that she flew with. She took Roosevelt. And then Eleanor Roosevelt was like, maybe I'll get a license. And then she was like, maybe not.
Maybe not. Why was she Jamaican?
Maybe not. I gotta go back to Franklin. Before he gets... What did Franklin get?
Polio?
Did he get polio? Before he gets the polio bomb. Bang. And
bang.
Then she did some more solo flights. So she did her solo flight across North America. Then her solo flight across... Atlantic. I almost said Antarctica, but that's wrong.
She was the first aviator to fly solo from Honolulu, Hawaii to Oakland, California.
That's fun.
Another little Elvis. Wow, Honolulu.
Another little Elvis. Oh, Honolulu.
Elvis. Yeah, little Elvis in Honolulu.
Yeah.
Hey, remember?
The flight has been attempted by many others, and unfortunate participants in the 1927 Dole Air Race, apparently. That had reversed the route for trailblazing. I don't know what that means.
Strange.
That
had reversed her route, her trailblazing flight, mainly routine, with no mechanical breakdowns.
Oh, okay. So she was just trailblazing the flight, and that's what it means. Yeah.
On the way back, yeah.
In her final hour, she even relaxed and listened to the broadcast of the Metropolitan Opera from New York. That's hilarious.
Hey, let's relax a little.
Yeah. So she did a lot of Lockheed flying, and Lockheed is a very, very good aeronautical engineers. They did all sorts of stuff. Lockheed Martin. No. And so
it's 11:30 a.m. Time for bed for Eric.
You better be tired because it's 11:30 a.m.
Oh, there we go.
The next attempt was a non-stop flight from Mexico City to New York, setting off on May 8th. So she did fly from all across North America, but it wasn't non-stop. This is a non-stop from Mexico City to New York.
I think we might have to...
Yeah. No, we're getting there. So, basically, she then moved to California after these few... She did long-distance air racing, winning a Bendix... placing 5th in the Bendix Trophy race. And she set more records for speed and distance aviation records. And in all sorts of Lockheed... Vega. Yeah, a lovely red Vega. Which sounds interesting. But now, she moved to California and then began planning the world flight in 1937. She joined the faculty of the university, Purdue University, in 1935, and she started to plan a round-the-world flight. It was not the first to circle the globe.
No, but
it would be the longest, right?
Yeah, 29,000 miles.
And grueling equilateral route, so it was like all around the Equator.
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 I am real human.
She got financing from Purdue. And Lockheed Electra was built due to her specifications. So she basically, Lockheed was like, "We'll build you a plane." And she's like, "I need
cup holders,
a
massage
bicycle,
chair,
like sorts of weird stuff."
2 cats in the co-pilot seat.
It was pretty good. She was and it was apparently publicized as a flying laboratory. So it was supposed to be like a bit of science was supposed to happen. But no science was planned.
I'm flying a plane. What do you want?
Like, I don't know what they might have like wanted to test air. I don't know.
Yep,
Is the air different up here?
Yeah, it's air.
Yeah,
it's still air.
Like I don't know.
We can now officially confirm that it is still air when you're.
She got a choice of the navigator was Captain Harry Manning, who had been the captain of President Roosevelt, the ship that brought Earhart back from Europe in 1928. Interesting enough. Yeah. She got contracts in the Los Angeles aviation community. I'm having trouble. Fred Noonan was chosen as a second navigator, and the significant additional factors that had to be dealt with using the celestial navigation for aircraft. So he had a little bit more expertise here.
Yeah.
And he was also experienced in marine flying and flight navigation.
Marine flying.
So
it's called swimming, dumbass.
Like flying in the Marines. Okay. Marine flying.
Next time I go swimming, I'm gonna go marine flying.
That's good. Yeah. He left the Pan Am, where he established most of his company's China Clipper seaplane routes, and he had been responsible for training Pan America's navigators. So he was pretty good. On March 17th, 1937, they did their first attempt to cross the Atlantic. Earhart and her crew flew the first leg to Oakland, California, Honolulu, Hawaii. However, they had to turn back around because of very strong winds against her. So basically, she went to
strong winds.
There's an island off Japan. Basically, she got there, and then they went back, and then they decided, nah, we're gonna go around the other way. So they went the opposite direction.
Psych.
They left from where did they leave? Miami, Florida, and her publicity began growing, obviously, and she began flying across the world. However, this is where her story comes to an end, as she did not make it.
Oh, what?
She got to the same place that she reached the very first time. So her very first attempt, when she got to the Pacific Island in Japan, she got around the same area before she was lost. She was lost, like literally.
Oh, right, in the Bermuda.
It wasn't the Bermuda, no.
But she was just like, her last thing was like, I'm going now.
Yeah.
I can see the.
It was all sorts of weird. I can find the last.
It was really...
Yeah, here we go. So her some of her estimated 100 miles out. She said Earhart on NW says running out of gas, only half an hour left. Can't
HR us at all.
Yeah.
We HR her and are sending on 3105 ES 500 same time constantly.
So it was all in Morse code that they sent these.
So
said, then another
clang clang. It's good. We must
be on you, but cannot see you. But gas is running low. Been unable to reach you by radio. We are flying at 1,000 feet. Yeah, the two of them. It was her and remember she had the navigator.
So they've never been found?
No, they never have. They never found the aircraft, and they never found her bodies, or her bodies, her two
bodies.
Yeah. And
of course,
yeah, I think that was the last. Yeah, that was the last thing she ever. She said,
"That's crazy."
Ediska, we must be on you, but cannot see you. Gas is running low because they're supposed to land on this island. Basically, there's a few theories of where she ended up. Because there's a really dense fog, so they couldn't find the island. And yeah, that's what happened. But then FDR arranged a 2-week. So this is a picture of it. So in Saipan, she went to Honolulu. She was supposed to reach Honolulu, but she got missed off of Howland Island, left from Leh. So she made it to Howland Island, but then on her trip to Honolulu, she went missing.
Yes.
And FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, organized a search team, but never ever found her. And there's a bunch of theories as to why she went missing. Some people think that she was actually a spy, spying on the whole world, and that she purposely went missing. Some people think that she just the fog. The most convincing one is that there was fog and then she couldn't be found. Landed in the Pacific somewhere, and they were never able to find her body.
Yeah, I guess if you landed in like the middle of the Pacific, they'd never find her.
Some interesting things though were that apparently at a similar time of her crash, estimated crash. a man reported seeing an airplane flying above him, and being like very distant from the area of where they were supposed to be. So
Strange.
exactly strange. There's a lot of strange things about her death. If you want to learn more about it, we're not going to spend some conspiracy theories. So we're going to end it there. That's the life and times of Amelia Earhart.
That was good, yeah.
It was
Very
It was
educational.
a very. We threw it out there. Hope you guys liked this pilot episode here.
My
pilot episode.
My next boy
Our next boy.
is
Our next guy.
he's kind of similar to Pilot, very similar to Pilot, but also a bit of a wizard.
Wizard!
You're a wizard. He's great. You're gonna love him.
Yeah.
I love him.
So, that's what we got going for us.
I was good. I was looking at Scientology.
Yeah.
and I found him. So there's your hint.
You can check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter.
Yeah.
Of course, you can listen to us still the same
Google
on
Play, SoundCloud, iTunes.
Yeah, those
But
three.
YouTube.
You can now see us live. Well, not live, but sort of.
Go dead.
You can see us
Dead on YouTube.
on YouTube. And anywhere you guys can, leave some comments. If you have any
Anywhere.
suggestions for future people that you want us to cover,
If you want to roast me about how I say crayon again,
if you want to do that,
fuckers.
go ahead.
Do it.
Share it with your friends. Experience the sharing. And you can also check out our...
we're not a cult.
Yeah, I mean, that's not what... I meant to like...
Experience the sharing.
like, so if the more you share for us, the easier it becomes for us.
for us.
Yeah, exactly. The easier it becomes. And also, the Narratives YouTube channel, you can check out some of our other stuff that'll be up on there pretty soon. It'll be nice and fun for you guys. So you won't have to just sit here and listen to 45 to 51 minutes of us just talking.
All right, lol, bye. I'm
So this-
out of here.
Yeah, we gotta
I
go.
quit.
God bless America.